It's May 1st, grouper opening, only 2 blacks per boat. It changed, there's 5 guys on the boat, so we'll see. 2 of us are gonna get lucky and get a black, so. I'm not really getting super crazy on the competition this year, just looking to have fun, but hopefully we'll land some good fish and just have a great time. Still dark outside. Moon's out, and we're getting ready for the tournament again. This time, I'm here with one of my good buddies, Paul Hamlin. He kind of introduced me to spearfishing. Anyway, here he is. If he can get it figured out.
More than I bargained for.
So,
Morning, Captain.
Morning. So I'm going out with Paul, Ed from Killshot Spearguns. We're hopping on his boat. Hopefully we put some fish on the boat. It always starts off with some good coffee. Gotta love it. Anyway, we're gonna have a good time out there, and hopefully we can put somebody on the podium. Yeehaw. Making my latte right now. I don't know if y'all can see, but this is Carson, who's also competing and dove with us last year with the wonderful spade fish he shot. He's not diving with us this time. He has his own game plan. He'll probably win it all. Cheers, Carson. Good luck out there. Hope you get a bigger fish than we do. 60-pounder at minimum. Anyway, yeehaw.
You got your camera there, cinematographer?
What are we going for? Spadefish, chubs, and lobster.
Spadefish, chubs, and triggerfish.
Triggerfish.
But triggerfish are actually edible. Don't forget about grunts. Grunts? I mean, yep. Truck for
Chiquita.
We're here today with Captain Ed Martin.
As you can tell, I take this very seriously. There's no time to screw around.
So he's gonna shoot the big one today. Bringing the good luck.
Oh boy, right.
I expect nothing less than full send with Ed.
I got the banana snorkel, so I think we can make this whole thing work. I think.
We're gonna do good.
Oh yeah.
At the very
Charlie
least, we're gonna have a
Daniels
great
style.
time out there.
Charlie's
So,
Angel style.
Yeah.
cheers. Oh, we better introduce ourselves while we're here. This is Doug,
Morning.
and then we've got, of course, the notorious
Crazy Eddie.
Crazy Eddie
Crazy Eddie.
of Killshot Spearguns and Crazy Eddie's dive shop in Islamorada. What was your name again?
Chris.
Chris. We got Chris as well. We got Paul Hamlin. All right. See you out on the water. All right, we're at our first spot here. Ed's been chumming. Hopefully we can put something on the boat here. All right, guys, I'm gonna go ahead and voice over some of these shots here, at least the underwater stuff. As you can tell, we're just kind of having fun. We're not getting super competitive with it, but we did chum a lot. As you saw earlier, all those chum buckets. We do a lot of chum balls and drop them to the bottom. Ed took a dive here. We're in an area that's 40 to 50 foot deep. I think into the sand it's like 60 or so, maybe 55. It's not super deep. But there still was not a whole lot on that ledge. Chris was able to get a black grouper off of there. But he was not in the tournament. He's just riding along. So, but anyway, that took one off of the 2 that we could get. So we decided, since we weren't seeing anything there, we're going to do some drops near the sand. Sometimes hogfish and muttons hang out right on that edge of the reef, right where it drops off, coming in and out of the sand or in and out of that bottom ledge there. And there just was not a whole lot going on. The current was near nothing, so our chum balls were not doing exactly what we wanted. You usually want chum balls dropping to the bottom so the grouper can eat it, but you want some getting carried downstream to bring all those fish from down current, up current, when they smell it and taste it and all that. So there just wasn't a whole lot going on this one, but we were still able to pull a black grouper off of that, even though it didn't count towards the tournament.
I'm not seeing a whole lot. I agree. I think we're gonna move in a second.
In these type of tournaments, if your spot's not producing, you really want to just pick up and move and try and find where the fish are. You don't want to sit there all day and keep chumming. So we decided to pick up and try another spot. All right, little update. We went to the first spot. Chris managed to grab a black off the bottom and throw him in the cooler.
I bet it's vapor lock. Oh, darn.
Oh, there she is. Anyway, got a fish in the boat. Hopefully another one soon. Got to hop in. Yeehaw. So hopping in at this next spot, we kind of anchored over the sand in between two ledges, a little valley. Or we like to call them fingers because they kind of look like fingers coming up the reef. And I think to the sand it was around 52 feet, and the coral came up on the sides to around 37 feet on both sides. So a lot of good area for any grouper or anything to come up off of there and come down and check everything out. So we're just chumming once again. And there was a grouper down there. It was right on the border, but not exactly what we were looking for. So yeah, we just chummed quite a bit. On this dive, you'll see I'm kind of just trying to find anything possible, even though muttons aren't really in the tournament, important in the tournament unless you're in the Calcutta. We were kind of going for anything, but I really wanted to find a hogfish, since hogfish are in the tournament. And there was a few down there that were just a little too small. You can see the one off on the right, and then you'll see a mutton in front of me, and I'm kind of looking at the hogs around. And then I placed a shot on that mutton once I realized that all the hogfish were undersized. So just to put something on the dinner table. Didn't quite stone it. As you can see, it's going berserk. I was about half a second too late on that trigger pull and got it right behind where I needed to. So it didn't seem to phase him too much, but it was pretty close. So we sat at the spot for a while, and we saw quite a few undersized blacks and undersized hogs, and once again the current just wasn't doing too much. We weren't seeing as much life as we had the past 2 weeks when we were scouting everything, and Ed said he had seen a ton of good blacks here, and it just seemed like they were hiding from us. So this mutton went 20 inches, and that's about how big I thought it was going to be, so I was glad that I judged the hogfish the way I did. Some days you're right on, and other days you pass on fish that you should have shot, and you're like, oh man, I thought that was small, but really it was much bigger. And so anyway, this one went just your average size mutton, about 20 inches. So threw that up on the boat. I didn't realize it landed on Paul. Paul was up there seasick, and yeah, so he woke up. He's like, what the heck? And he measured and confirmed with me sizes and all that. So not our target species, but I brought that home and scaled it and did a whole fish for my wife and son, so that was nice.
Perfect. Mutton.
And this is one other dive. I didn't record a whole lot of these dives because not a whole lot was going on. And I could see a couple of black grouper under this ledge where we were dropping chum. I'll slow it down up here in a minute, and you'll be able to see a black grouper kind of swimming away. And it's hard to see with all that stirred up in my camera, but there were quite a few black grouper hiding around these little ledges there. You can see that black grouper on the left right there, swimming off. But I was looking to see, hopefully there'd be something legal under there, or maybe a barely legal hogfish. Even just a legal hogfish in some of these tournaments when the days are harder can put you on the podium just for getting something. Because sometimes people don't weigh anything, as you saw last year. It can be that difficult some days. So once again, if the spot's not producing, we pick up and move.
Like 3 smaller blacks under the same ledge. Nothing shootable. Small mutton, small hog.
All right, we're moving spots. Second spot wasn't too productive, but got a mutton in there. Head to the next spot. Yeehaw.
How's the rain?
I don't know. Wet. Really, really wet.
All right, we're at our third spot. Captain Ed's mixing up the chum balls. Anyway, we're going to see if we can find something here. Hopefully something nice. One of the things that I love about diving with Ed and on Ed's boat is there's never a shortage of laughter. We're always cracking up and ragging on each other and poking fun and making jokes about everybody's fish or missing shots or chumming or getting sick. You name it, it's always a great time. You can see where we've been chumming there. If you look towards the bottom, you can see all those fish zooming around. A big cloud of chum from the fish stirring it up, eating those chum balls we're dropping to the bottom. You can see this has got some nice chunky bottom there, and you'd expect to pull a grouper off of this spot, but we just kept seeing a lot of shorts. The water was super clear that day, and I think that was probably part of it, is when the water is this clear, a lot of the fish get pretty weary and hide out. So we'll teach you a little secret here. You just saw me grab that off the back of the boat there. What we like to do, you can see in my hand, there's a chum ball, but we freeze them. So you can see it's not just crumbling apart in my hand. So I can swim with it, I can drop it wherever I want, right in front of a ledge that I think maybe a grouper might be in, and it'll get them to come out. But the main advantage is going to be when you're on the boat. I'm sure if you've spearfished, you can see that shark down there swimming along. That's what I was pointing at. But if you've been chumming before, pretty heavy, and you get to the right spot and there's fish down there, sometimes the chubs and the parrotfish and the bait fish and everything all just picks your chum all apart before it even gets to what it's intended for, those groupers and those snappers at the bottom. But you can see this chum ball will stay whole. It'll just kind of melt down there. So even if you've got a ton of parrotfish up top and all these small fish up top, they're not strong enough to keep it up there, so it'll drop right past them and get to the intended target. You can see I dropped that, and I just kind of tried to aim it right in the middle of that pocket there, and I could see there was some good ledges that ran up and down there. So if I dropped that right in there and got some of those, you can already see it working a little bit, some of those yellowtail and other fish that are hiding under that ledge to come out and start making a ruckus, that maybe some grouper will get intrigued and inquisitive and come out and poke their head out to see what's going on, even though it's so clear. So kind of dropped it in there and let that chum ball marinate a little bit. And you can see it's clouding up down there now. This is Ed, Crazy Eddie. Speaking of Crazy Eddie, if you're ever in Islamorada, make sure you check out his shop. I'll post the link below, and Killshot Spearguns. You can see Ed down there at the bottom, just slowly approaching, kind of from an area where he wasn't making a lot of attention to himself and kind of using some of the structure to his advantage. And he looked under that ledge and just didn't see anything and headed back up. And you'll see, even though it's a competition, we always safety each other. We're right there, making sure each other's safe. Even if it's just a short dive that we know the other person's good, we do the same thing every time. That way it's always ingrained in your brain, and we're diving as safely as possible. So I make a dive here on that same spot, just to check it out after it's been sitting there a little bit longer. You'll see all sorts of fish, but not really anything that we are intending to shoot. See that parrotfish there? Those are the ones that tend to steal a ton of chum. A lot of grunts. I'd seen a mutton in the distance there. I was kind of seeing if it was coming in. You can see that cloud that those fish created trying to chew up that frozen chum ball, and just kind of looking in some of these holes and looking down the line and seeing if anything's just poking out to see what's going on, and nothing was around. So, but I figured it was worth the attempt. While we're at the spot, the other divers were scoping the surrounding areas, checking out some other ledges and holes and trying to produce whatever they can, but still not much current, as you saw that chum ball drop almost straight down. So the spots that had produced before weren't producing, and you'll see here, since our target species were not around, I wanted to put just some more fish on the table. Kept looking around, checking under some coral heads, seeing if maybe there might be a black grouper or any grouper under there. But in those usual places you should see them on opening day, they just weren't there. I don't know if they had moved back off out into deeper water or what. You can see that mutton in the background there that was right on the border of being legal, so I wasn't really pursuing it. I believe to that sandy area there, that was more like 60 something. We had swam our way out to the edge at that point, but I think we were only in 45-50 feet on top of the coral there.
Nothing. Just barely.
That was the one that was over here.
Yeah, the one that was on that side. Yeah. I couldn't. No, he's probably like 17.
So we really checked the spot as thoroughly as we could, because it's been known to hold some big groupers, and I don't know where they went, but they weren't around. So here I decided to go down, and I think this is the footage where I decided to put a whole yellowtail on the table. I like scaling the whole yellowtails, and I really like cooking them and just practicing, culinary skills and cooking for my family. And it's one of the great things about spearfishing is you get to pick out the exact fish that you want to take home. So you'll see here I shoot this yellowtail. Just a good eating sized one. I think that one only went 14 inches. But it's a perfect size for if you guys are trying to cook them whole, to do for the family. Just a nice, anywhere from 12 to 16 inches, cook really well whole. You'll see, of course, I bleed them. Really important that you bleed your fish. It makes the meat quality a lot better. Of course, we brain them too to put them out of their misery, but bleeding them for meat quality purposes. If you've ever eaten a fish that's not bled and eaten it side by side, the same species that has been bled, they taste completely different.
I'm so happy you took that Dramamine. I didn't know you had Dramamine with you. I'm so happy you took that. It usually takes like an hour and a half to kick in, so you're gonna start feeling a lot better.
I took 2 bone
All right, we're at like our 5th spot here. Paul puked and rallied, wasn't feeling good. He ate some bad roast beef the other day.
Yeah.
Last night.
That's what we'll put it down to.
But he's feeling better.
Ed just plain sucks.
Ed's about to hop in. A couple of spots we went to didn't quite produce today, but hopefully we'll get something. We're just stopping here to check out some shallower spot that Ed saw a few grouper on the other day when he was scouting, so hopefully we get some. Yeehaw. This spot was a little shallower. I think it was like 45 feet to the sand, maybe less, maybe 42. And this is the only fish that I saw that might be worth shooting. You can see I'm chasing, it's a hogfish. It was probably 17, 18 inches to the fork. They're supposed to be 16, so just barely legal, but I knew it was legal by the shape of the snout. And I just whiffed it. I had a shot on him. In the video it looks like I was much farther away, but I was perfectly lined up, and I waited and waited and waited and waited too long. And then I got impatient and just pulled the trigger clearly when I was going to miss. And I was having trouble with my ears sticking, but I was hoping one of those guys would go get one. Would go get it, because like I said before, all it takes is a legal-sized fish to put you on the podium sometimes when the fishing's not so great. All right, y'all, my ear's sticking. I just missed that hogfish and called it quits. Kind of sucked today.
My belly button.
Yeah. Welcome back to Crazy Ed's Dive Adventures.
Cuban wahoo, baby.
Live to try again later. Yeehaw. As you can see, the water was super clear. It was a gorgeous day in Islamorada. Gotta love it when you get this gin clear water. You could see the bottom from 100 yards away. It's just gorgeous. So we are on our way back to the dock. And all right, we're back at the dock with the gentleman.
Thank God.
And we got a couple things in there. Black grouper, we got a yellowjack, we got a mutton, and you can probably tell by the tail of some sort. Anyway, we didn't clean house on the grouper, but we had a great time. Got some fish, got some dinner. Hope you enjoyed the episode. Yeehaw. All right, y'all, the tournament's over. It's a pretty good showing for everybody. I didn't put any fish on the podium or anything like that, but my two good friends, Carson and Sam, they got third. Both of them got third. One in men's freediving, one in women's freediving. So pretty cool that they won. So it's always next year. Still had a great time. Huge congrats to everybody else who placed in the tournament. I'll post the leaderboard here and all the fish weights and everything like that. It was a little bit slower this year. Not as big fish. Not many big fish weighed this year compared to last year. As far as how much they weighed, but a decent showing. It was a harder day out there fishing, so I didn't feel bad that I didn't get anything, but shout out to everybody who put on that tournament, to the Leonias and everybody, and it really is always a nice tournament. So I'll post up the link here, so if you're looking to do it next year on grouper and hogfish opening on May 1st, they throw it every year. It's for a great cause. Great people, great family that puts it on, so you can sign up and help support all that. So anyway, see you next year, and as always, yeehaw.